Yo, 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 what's up, man? Big facts. So, as I'm looking at the multi-dimensional universe of the Vedas, I just had an epiphany. You know, this documentary is talking about the multi-universe, unlimited universes. We live in parallel universe. I mean, there's uh, unlimited, unlimited numbers of yourself in the universe. You know, in one universe, you could be married. In another universe, you could be divorced, or you could never be married. In one universe, you're gay. In another universe, hell, you're all three. In another universe, you're the president. In another universe, Donald Trump was president. That's this universe. There's unlimited number of you in the universe, in all these universes, and there's so many different realms. I think there's like 14 realms above Earth, the higher realms, the God, the heavenly realms. Then there's the hell realms below Earth. All these is what the Vedic, all this is what the Vedic Vedas text talks about. And the higher, the top realm is Brahma. It's the Brahma Loka, I think that's what it's called. That's the realm Brahma lives on. And I was just thinking, man, because it was talking about um, the documentary was talking about having lust and greed and all this stuff, and you know how in religion we're taught to suppress our greed or lust and everything like that. And I was thinking, because in some teachings, spiritual teachings, they tell you that you're God, you know. And I was like, well, if I'm God, and it's all in my mind, because in some teachings they also say your world is in your mind. The universe is in your mind. You are God. This whole universe, what you experience in life, is all in your mind. And I believe that. And I'm like, so if it's all in my mind, I'm God. Why is it wrong for me to want to have as much sex as I want? Why is that wrong? If I want to have sex, what's wrong with that? But in some teachings, they teach, you're not supposed to want that. Suppress your desires and all this. Well, you can't suppress your desires. The same thing that you desire, your desire is what holding you back. But I'm like, we all desire, even God desires something. We all desire something. I don't care if you're a higher being or a lower being or whatever being you are. There are going to be desires. Even if you want no desire, that's a desire. Even if you have no desires, that's a desire. The desire to have no desires. To meditate, that's a desire. You can't live without desires. Consciousness in itself is a desire. To be conscious, you're going to desire something. And that's the curse. I think to be consciousness is a curse. To know that I am is a curse. To be alive, I don't care how great your life is, because if it was so great, there wouldn't be so many dimensions, there wouldn't be so many heavenly realms, there wouldn't be this game for us to be playing, the higher gods, the lower realms and all this. If life was great, If life wasn't a curse, we wouldn't need all these type of realms, and there would be no God. You know, I think God is the curse. I think consciousness is the curse. It's sad, and it's something to feel sorry about. I think it's when you really think about it, it's kind of sad. You've got to feel sorry for God. You have to feel sorry for God. You have to feel sorry for life. You have to feel sorry for consciousness. You have to feel, because it can never die. It can never truly be at peace, because it knows it's alive. It can never truly be at peace. That's why you got all these. That's why everything's so busybody. That's why you got all these concepts. That's why you got all these realms, the hell realm, the heavenly realm, because and it's full of desires, and it's just everything is moving, and it's not it's not at peace. We can never be at peace, even when we meditate. The true peace is non-existence. There can never be non-existence. You know, that's the real peace is non-existence. That's the real peace, and there can never be non-existence. Because there always will be consciousness. You know, I don't think God can kill himself. I don't think God can commit suicide. You know, and that would be real peace if there was no consciousness. That's the peace. And you got to feel sorry. And this may sound crazy, but in some aspect you have to feel sorry. I mean, you have to realize that it's a curse to be alive. It's a curse. You know, I don't care if you create the perfect world where you can have as many women as you want, all the riches in the world you want. You can be the king of a heavenly planet where there's totally peace on earth and you're always happy all the time. It's still a curse. It's still a curse. You know, it's a curse because you're always wanting something. You're always doing something. You're always into something. And eventually you're going to get tired of that, because that's why all these realms, because that's why you see that's why you witness and you read and you watch and hear what these texts are teaching and saying. Is always duality. There's never just peace. It's always, you know, with peace there's always war. With a smile there's always a frown. With joy there's always hate. With love there's always hate. There's always duality. You know. And I've heard that there's worlds where there's no duality, but still, those people in those people in those worlds that there are no duality, I mean, it's the same type of curse you're living. And the being that created the world with no duality, the same being that created the world with duality. So that being is not satisfied. And that being is God, or the creation, or the consciousness. That being is consciousness. So in all that consciousness desired, that consciousness wanted something more than just a one dual world, a one aspect of the world. He wanted duality. He just didn't want one version of a world. So that in itself created unrest. That in itself is unrest in its being, in its consciousness. It's unresting. It can't rest. It has to keep creating. It has to keep, building this game that we're in. Tells you it's not at peace within itself. Tells you consciousness in its purest form in itself is not at peace. Tells you life, consciousness is pretty much a curse. A curse to be conscious, a curse to be self-aware, a curse to be alive. That's the curse of life. The curse of consciousness, the curse of God. It can never die. Probably would be a beautiful thing if it died. None of this ever existed. It would be a beautiful thing. It would be. But being alive, the pain is way worse than the joy. The pain is way worse than the joy. The joy is not the joy is not existing in the first place. So you wouldn't have to experience the pain. Pain is more hurtful than any joy. You can just look at the people that experience joy on this earth and experience pain on this planet, and you tell me who's affected more. People with pain are affected more than people with joy. Now we know some people may can handle pain differently, and some people have different levels of handling pain. But you give me the person with the greatest joy, the person with the greatest pain. That pain is gonna, the greatest pain has more of an effect than the greatest joy on that person's psyche. On that person's misery. You wouldn't wish that on nobody. You wouldn't wish that on nobody. So it's a great, deep price to pay to live in the world of duality. To have life is a great price to pay. And it's not worth it in the end. The experience is really not worth it, but that's the curse of life. That's the curse of God. And in a sense, you kind of have to feel sorry for God. Because the games that he has to create to, the game, all this is a game, man. All these worlds, that was created, all these different levels of dimensions. It's a game created out of boredom. It's pretty much a game that's created out of boredom, because there's nothing else to do but create and live. Because consciousness is here, is alive, and it ain't going nowhere. It can't kill itself. And that's the curse of God. And nobody, I'm pretty sure some ancient text says the same thing that I'm saying right now. But I just, I'm just self-reflecting, because if we are all gods, and I'm talking about myself, talking about myself being cursed. You know, the curse of life. And you know, the games that we have to play to keep ourselves occupied with life, to keep ourselves from going insane. You know, the things that we do, we play games, we go to games, we have our entertainment. We need entertainment. We have to entertain ourselves because we don't want to go crazy. So we create our children to enjoy them. You know, we have to keep ourselves busy to keep our mind sane. You know, we have to do a lot just to live, just to keep our mind right, just to keep our mind right on this planet, just to keep our mind busy and focused on something and doing something, keeping our minds active and busy on doing something, because otherwise we probably go crazy. But a lot of us don't think about it. A lot of us don't think about that. But that's the same way with spiritual beings. It's the same type of concept. They got to keep their mind busy. They got to keep their what they got going on with creation and this and that, and looking down on human beings or whatever life they're looking down upon. It's the game. It's just life is just one big game, and it's all, I think, is all the curse of life, all the curse of life, all the curse of living, all the curse of consciousness. You know. Like I said, I don't care if you living in heaven and everything's peaceful. It's still the curse of life. It's life. It's living. It's living. You can't really rest. You can't really, cause the rest is to really rest is to not know that you're alive, to not even exist. That's really resting, to not ever be alive in the first place, to not ever existing in the first place. That's true rest. Everything else is pretend. And the reason the gods meditate, because that's what we want to get back to. We want to get to non-existence. That's why you're meditating for peace. That's why you're quieting the mind and being still, because we want to mimic non-existence. We want to be at peace, because true peace is non-existence, and that's what we try to mimic. That's what the gods try to mimic, non-existence. Let me still my mind. Let me be at peace. Let me quiet. Non-existence, man. That's truly what the gods strive for, non-existence. But can never have it. And that's the curse. Peace. Big facts.